This again is February 6, 2025, Reparations Committee meeting. At this time, we do not have a quorum. Will we proceed forward with all agenda items that are not for action? And as a acknowledgement and honor to our ancestors and those that we do this work on behalf of, we're going to start with item 1A, our ancestral acknowledgement, read by Committeeman Mr. Carlos Sutton.
Thank you. With great humility and deep gratitude, we honor the strength, endurance, and sacrifice of our Black ancestors. We honor those enslaved African people whose forced labor was exploited for generations to help establish the economy of our region and the United States. We honor those Black ancestors who persevered despite the discriminatory laws and practices that create a racial caste system, legitimize anti-Black racism, and continue to plague our community today. It is only by recognition and understanding of those areas begun during our nation's origins and continuing today that we can hope to correct our path. We acknowledge this exploitation of not only minds and labor, but of our humanity. We grieve for those Black ancestors who, despite their contributions to the city's wealth and freedom, were never recognized, fairly compensated, nor allowed to fully realize their own sovereignty. Because of their work, we are here, and we will invest in the descendants of that legacy. And through this process, we work to repair some of the harms caused by the city of Evanston. We also hope our focused attempts at reparations will serve as an example to the United States government and prompt other institutional accomplishments to begin the process of repair. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sutton. It's Black History Month, and what other place would you be than at a Reparations Committee meeting in Black History Month, right? So we're so glad that you're here, and so glad so many people are joining us remotely. I think we have over 100 folks that are joining us remotely. 65, but more are coming. So we are excited to be here on this Black History Month. And we hope that everyone is celebrating and honoring our rich Black culture and history right here in Evanston and beyond. Later in the meeting, we'll talk more about all of the ways that you can celebrate and honor Black History Month here in Evanston. We thought it'd be appropriate to acknowledge some folks that have made Black history and are making Black history here in Evanston, our own community members that show up. And in this case, we're going to acknowledge 3 community members that have had incredible contributions and support of the work of the Reparations Committee here in Evanston and the reparations efforts more broadly in Evanston and some even beyond Evanston internationally. And I am going to start with our first awardee. I'm going to share because she probably is taking some time away from class right now actually to virtually receive this award, is Miss Elisa Walker with us in the virtual audience. Awesome. Miss Elisa Walker, let me tell you a little bit about Elisa. Elisa Walker is a rising, this is old actually, because in fact she is a graduating senior at Hampton University, one of the most prestigious historically Black institutions in the United States. After completing her freshman year, she secured an internship at First Repair, where her passion for reparations legislation, both locally, nationally, and internationally, were ignited. Motivated by this newfound passion, she is currently pursuing a major in international studies. May I add one more time, she's graduating in a few months. She currently holds a position of special assistant. Let me stop here. Miss Elisa came in as an intern. She now is our communications manager as well as a board member at First Repair and one of my trusted advisors as a youth leader. Prior to enrolling at Hampton University, she attended Evanston Township High School in Evanston, go Kids, where her interest in youth advocacy and empowerment blossomed as she learned to advocate for herself as a freshman. While at ETHS, she demonstrated her deep passion for youth advocacy. Her involvement in various youth-focused initiatives and organizations included the Black Student Summit, the Girls Youth Leadership Program, and a mentor for Girls Play Sports, a nonprofit here in Evanston. Helped her to grow in her passion for youth advocate. She also was a youth advocate under the leadership of our own Kim Holmes at Cradle to Career. She is actively working towards creating a positive impact in the lives of the younger generation. She believes in empowering and uplifting the voices of young people, advocating for their rights and creating their own opportunities. I'll add a few things about Elisa. Elisa is an international reparations leader. She works with a student group at the United Nations, has been there now 3 times, both in Geneva, Switzerland, and in New York, where she works with her colleagues to advocate for reparations here in Evanston and all across the African diaspora. The young woman is just incredible, a leader. She communicates well. She is truly a trusted advisor of mine, and I'm so excited to be able to share this award. The City of Evanston Reparations Committee, we present the Alderman Dolores Holmes Social Justice Award to Elisa Law Day. And at some point, I'm gonna be able to get through this. The Alderman Dolores A. Holmes Social Justice Award honors the legacy of Alderman Dolores Holmes, a dedicated community leader and advocate for social justice in Evanston. This award recognizes individuals or organizations that demonstrate a steadfast commitment to equity, inclusion, repair, and positive change in our community. Recipients of this award embody the spirit of Alderman Dolores A. Holmes' lifelong work championing marginalized voices, fostering meaningful dialogue, and driving impactful initiatives that promote justice and fairness. Through their dedication, they inspire others to continue the fight for a more equitable and a more just community, a more equitable and a more just Evanston. So congratulations, Elisa Walker, and thank you for your leadership.
Vanessa A. Johnson McCoy. Vanessa A. Johnson McCoy was born and raised right here in Evanston, Illinois. She is a natural-born servant leader who actively participated in student council beginnings in 3rd grade and throughout middle and high school, serving as treasurer in the 5th grade at Timber Ridge Elementary School, now Bessie Rhodes in Skokie, and is vice president of the student council at Jude Middle School in Evanston. Not only is she a servant leader, but at Evanston Township High School, she was a cheerleader for 3 years. Because she enjoys encouraging others to push forward and win, Vanessa was raised as a church girl, and having to say Easter and Christmas speeches in front of hundreds of people since age 5 has given her the confidence and courage to speak publicly without being afraid. Vanessa attended the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, where she earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration with concentration in organizational behavior. After college, she relocated to Southern California and successfully held various corporate positions in human resources in California, in Atlanta, Georgia, and here in Illinois, until she transitioned to become a full-time licensed real estate broker in 2017 and started her own business, VAJM Consulting, LLC, in 2018. Vanessa is a sales agent with Caldwell Banker in Evanston and is a member of the Caldwell Banker Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Council and the North Shore Barrington Association of Realtors. She served as the first Black president of the Women's Council of Realtors, North Shore, years 2022 and 2023. And she is the founding president of NARED, National Association of Real Estate Brokers, North Shore, Realtors Association. She's a member of NAACP, Evanston Chapter, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, Incorporated, and is active in the City of Evanston's Reparations, Housing, and Community Unit Working Groups. The Joining Forces Zoning Committee and her church and community, all is in Joining Forces Zoning Community and her church. She's an advocate for liberty and justice for all, especially African Americans, and works diligently to educate and encourage and push Black home ownership. Vanessa lives in Evanston with her husband, has 2 sons, a daughter-in-law, and her first granddaughter is on the way. She's known to be positive, honest, resourceful, and detailed, and she strives to daily reflect her motto to have a V, victorious, A, and J, joyous, M, marvelous attitude, and encourage others to do the same. At this time, we present this award to our spark plug, Vanessa Johnson.
Yay, Vanessa.
Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, wow, what a surprise. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my goodness, oh my
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm on the way to take a picture. Let's get a picture. Okay. Mr. Sutton? Chrissy, we need you. Yeah.
Be helpful. Thank you. Trying to be helpful.
All right.
Oh, my council member. Thank you, Lord. Woo-hoo.
Awesome.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Thank
Thank you. I appreciate your help. Speech? No, I don't think they have time. Just know that I appreciate it.
Our third recipient of this award is Tina Payton. Her family has been in Evanston for 3 generations, and they have provided housing for 3 generations, business. They've been active in the community in all sources. Politically, her mother became alderman, and her father was active also in his church and in the Veterans of America. Their family have always stood for integrity and honesty in this community and trying to provide below market rate housing available for people here. So we thank the family for their 3-generation contributions, and we continue giving her this acknowledgement and this award, which reads, the Alderman Dolores A. Holmes Social Justice Award honors the legacy of Dolores Alderman Holmes, a dedicated community leader and advocate for social justice in Evanston. This award recognizes individuals or organizations that demonstrate a steadfast commitment to equity, inclusion, repair, and positive change in our community. Recipients of this award embody the spirit of Alderman Dolores.
Okay, one time, a dramatic entrance.
Okay.
Yes, and I'll finish it. Okay. Recipients of this award embody the spirit of Alderman Dolores A. Holmes' lifelong work, championing marginalized voices, fostering meaningful dialogue, and driving impactful initiatives that promote justice and fairness. Through their dedication, they inspire others to continue the fight for a more equitable and just community. Awarded this day, 6th of February, 2025. Robin Ruth Simmons, Chair, Daniel Des Mayor. Congratulations.
And I just want to say, first of all, Second Ward is in the house. Vanessa, Second Ward, Tina, Second Ward. But so very proud, as a council member, Tina and I talk frequently, or I get talked at frequently.
That's right.
But I appreciate it because she is so concerned about the city she lives in. She comes from a legacy. Her mom was Second Ward alderperson, so I'm hoping I'm close. I know I can't live up to your mom, but making sure that we are equitable in the city. And she always challenges the city. She always challenges me to make sure we're doing the best that we can. And while it can be contentious, it's the right thing. The right thing can be hard to do, and Tina holds us accountable. So congratulations, Tina. Thank you.
I have to just add a couple more words about Ms. Payton. Everything that Councilwoman Harris said, but Ms. Payton shows up, and she's not in the Facebook comments complaining and whatever. She will be right here in person, in our face, letting us know what she believes is best for our community as it relates to the entire community, as it relates to affordable housing, and as it relates to Black people, because what is she always in her remarks with? Black Lives Matter, right? And so it's so important that we honor you in particular today, Ms. Payton, because your continued advocacy really inspired us to figure out how to expand to cash. It inspired us how to make sure we got our funds in a Black-owned bank without losing sight of that and making sure that the timeline was expeditious. So I want to take this moment to acknowledge you for that, and I hope that you accept this award on behalf of the committee.
Thank you.
Would you like if we're going to just give a minute to all of you?
Yeah, good morning. Sorry I was late. It was challenging getting here with this ice. Yep. But I was determined to get here no matter what. I think since 2019, I missed maybe 2 meetings. I had COVID one time and the other one probably a family emergency. But it's important that we continue this work, and I'm gonna keep continuing to come and make sure that everybody that didn't get a fair chance in the past will get a fair chance now. And I hope, I was very shocked today. I was not expecting it, but thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Elisa Walker, next, if you could, if you would like to share a minute, response to your community that loves you and supports you.
We can't hear you.
We can't hear you. Vanessa, if you want to make your way up and just have a minute comment, thank you.
Sure, okay, yeah. But again, the main thing is my 2 favorite words.
Right.
The main thing is my 2 favorite words, which is thank you, and good things come to those who show appreciation, and that is, so I've supported since I heard about reparations, and it's my hometown that I love. And thank you, committee, for this award. I'm just humbled and so excited to receive it, so I'll keep it short. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa. And then were we able to get Elisa back? Elisa, can you give us an emoji or something so we can see if you are, she is there? Uh-oh.
Okay, there we go. Okay, say something?
Hello.
Okay,
Hold on.
we'll put it
We got
down.
speakers. Okay, I would just like to say thank you so much for the recognition. I'm so grateful to be from Evanston, and to have been able to grow up in this work and to represent Evanston all over the world. I always take the time to let people know what my hometown is doing, and I'm just so proud of them. And I just want to see the best for my town and for the Black communities all over the world. Thank you again. Thanks, Grace.
Congratulations.
Congratulations all, congratulations all. So we're gonna breeze through the rest of our agenda. And our next item is 2A, approval of the meeting minutes from November 7. Let's do them all, A, B, and C. May 2nd, 2024, and September 5th, 2024. I had a motion from Councilmember Harris. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Is there any discussion, any feedback on the minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes approving the meeting minutes. Next we have for discussion 3A, 2025 direct descendants reparations distribution. That is for action, but we will leave that for our fearless leader, Tashik. Do you want to give a report?
So for 2025, we are anticipating dispersing to 46 direct descendants. So that's numbers 81 through 126. So these distributions, again, will be funded by the revenue from the municipal retail cannabis tax and a 1 million allocation from the real estate transfer tax to the reparations fund. Disbursements will be made monthly as funds become available. The committee expects to complete all 46 distributions by July 2025.
Is there any discussion?
I move for the acceptance of the distribution report.
Is there a second? I second. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, that is accepted and placed on file. And next we have 3B, presentation for our Reparations Economic Development Group resource tool. We're so glad you're here.
Good morning, everyone. It's so good to be here with you all in person and virtually to present on behalf of our working group, the Economic Development Working Group of the Reparations Committee. So I'm happy to share with you today something that we've been working on and put together for the community at large, specifically for the businesses that operate and were founded here in Evanston. And so what we put together is a tool, and that tool is based on what we heard from the local businesses that came to speak with our working group and shared what they felt was needed more of, and for a lot of them, it was access to resources. Taking that feedback in addition to what we know about the wonderful work that is being done across the city by other committees like the Economic Development Committee, as well as the city at large, as well as just information that's out there in general. It could be information overload. So what we did to not be duplicative with what's already being done, but to build on that, is that we gathered some additional resources and found and tried to find a way in order to put it all in one space. And so with that, we're hoping that it would help with accessing resources, not just here in Evanston and the Chicagoland area, but also across the nation, and then also make it communal. So fostering collaboration as well as crowdsourcing additional resources. Next slide, please. And so just building on this a bit more, again, reiterating the fact that we wanted to create a centralized resource hub for businesses that they could sort through by using easy to sort filters, and then, as I mentioned before, crowdsourcing additional resources. And so what everyone will see, and let me pause right here because you can see the URL on every single page. What I'm hoping is that everyone watching this now and in the future could access that URL. It's temporary at the moment because we're looking for a new home for the site, but you can actually see it in real time. So what you'll see when you go to that page is the landing page, which is a scrollable one-pager, the database, which is the repository for all the resources, as well as a submission form. Again, highlighting the fact that we really want this to be community-driven now and into the future. And so what I'm going to give you is a walkthrough of that. Okay. So this is a screen share of the actual site. This is the landing page, and then you'll see the repository, the database of the resources. Right now it's in alphabetical order. You'll see the name of the resource, the type of resource, and resources can have multiple types. So education and training, funding and grants, networking, events and opportunities and what have you, as well as the cost, which varies from free to paid to multiple types of payment options, and then a geographic location. So Midwest, the West, South, and what have you. And what you're seeing right now is an example of the page. For anyone who clicks onto a particular resource, you'll see the date that it was added, the factors that I shared with you, the type of resource, and a description of that resource itself, as well as a link to that resource's website. And so there are multiple views. The first view was a list. This one is in alphabetical order. This view is showing you all the resources broken out by the resource type. And then the next view is by geography. Again, just showing you what a page would look like. This one is for small business development corporations. And then as I mentioned before, this view is by geography. Again, our focus is here in Evanston, in the Chicagoland area, but there are resources across the nation that businesses in Evanston could tap into. The example you saw there was Ada S. McKinley in Chicago, which serves for which could serve as a fiscal sponsor for some businesses. And then here's where someone would access the form in order to add the resource that they would like to see populated within the database. Try to make it as user-friendly as possible. The same categories that you saw from the database view. And so what you'll see is me going in order to add a demo. So that's the name of this resource right now, just to show you how it will flow through the entire system. And then the other two options is just adding a website and then a description of the resource. So once that's done, it will not automatically populate within a database because there's a check there. That's to keep anyone from adding any type of resource to it or any resource that's not valid. It allows someone behind the scenes to go and take a look and verify it before approving it to show up on the front end. And so what you'll see is that I'm just scrolling down, you'll see it's not showing up yet, just to demonstrate the fact that there is a check. Remember, it was demo resource, so it's not there. But what I did on my end, and it did not show here, is I went in to approve it, and now you will see it showing up. And the approval process is really easy and straightforward. It's a checkbox that says verified, select it or deselect it, and then it shows up. At the time of the screen recording, there were 48 resources. There are now 55 that are showing up, and then you can see by this dashboard the resources by cost and access as well as by geography. And then that's it for the demo. And so where we're going with this is, as I mentioned before, we're actually brainstorming where this could live on a more permanent basis. We would love to continue to engage the entire community, so please share it far and wide. Right now, that URL, that website address is still active. When we find a permanent home for it, we will broadcast that out as well. And then just to let you know, low maintenance updates. Those low maintenance updates are basically approving the resources that have been submitted. Very low maintenance. And so with that, again, ways to get involved, share the resources, spread the word, explore the hub, and that is it. Thank you.
So do you have to have?
Ready to go. Okay. With adding the resources on there, is that just a resource that a community member or someone accessing the site may know of, or does that entity approve their inclusion in this list? And the description is accurate, etc. Like, what is the involvement with the resources that are, and the vetting of the resources that are put on there? Such an awesome question. Thank you for that. So right now, the way it's set up, anyone could add a resource. With all the resources that are there now, the descriptions have been taken from public websites of those organizations. So they're already public facing. So just sharing who they are and what they do in their words.
And so the person who is approving and verifying it will also go in and check to make sure that that is the case, that that is how the organization describes what they do.
I just had a question of, is it free or is it a subscription model or something? Okay.
It is not free, and again, that is because we want this to be community driven. And we want it to grow with resources that businesses, entrepreneurs, whether they're virtual or brick and mortar, can access.
So it's a cost for the user.
Thank you for asking. It's not a cost for the user, it's free.
Right, I
Yeah.
think that's,
Yeah, that was, yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, no cost for the user.
great.
So you wanna say what, when you say it's not free, what were you referring to?
Oh, that's for the actual, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So when so one of the descriptors was the cost and access. That is for the actual resource. So for instance, like the Small Business Development Corps, they have different types of programming and offerings that some are free, like networking and community events, while others, there may be a cost, like if they connect you with a funder, for instance, you get capital from any of like other resources, they may require some form of payment, either equity or interest on a loan, for instance. Others may be multiple. So that is the only one, that's the only category within this page where you have to select one option. So if it's free, it's free. If there are different types of programming that have different costs attached to it, then it's multiple. If it doesn't apply, then it's not applicable. Thank you both for the question.
Can you put that URL up there again?
Yes. So right now it's a shorter URL. When you open it up, it's gonna be longer. It's lavender eucalyptus. Let me look it up to know it by heart.
.notion.
.com is in Notion. So we're using Notion, which is an online application that you can use for a number of different things. For project management, for personal tasks, for they even now created a way in order to have live websites, which is the feature that we're using. So everything you see here is housed on Notion. So in general, the cost to maintain this site is very low because of Notion.
What, can you tell us what that is about? And who's paying for it now? And how do we get the city to pick that up? So,
Yeah, so the cost right now, it's housed on my account. And I forgot, because I have a business pro plan, but it is like $20 a month.
okay.
So
Can you
it's really
submit
cost
something,
effective.
can you submit something to Chic so we can figure out how the city can make sure we incur that cost?
Yes.
I think that was in the same vein that the city has, when you were in development, were you including our economic development committee? Also, did you have any participation from the Black Chamber here?
So yes, because we also have staff that attend our working group meetings regularly. And so we knew what they were doing on their end with revising the website, the city's website. And so we factored that in. So a lot of the resources you see on this is not necessarily what's on the city's website because we just didn't want to duplicate efforts. So we wanted to build on the wonderful work that's already being done and just expand. the resources, the network, the options.
Wonderful. And in your process, have you also had engagement with the Black Business Consortium? Just making sure you reach out to them because they have a growing database of resources in town, the Weavers and the Murphys.
Yes, and yes.
Awesome, thank you. Thank you for your hard work on this, first of all. Yes. We can see how much thought and detail and expertise went into this. I look forward to seeing it brought to life. So you'll be in touch with Councilmember Harrison to she.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
We're going to move on to, we're actually going to postpone our harm report, which is AC. We're going to move on to approval of the Reparations Committee meeting calendar. May I have a motion to introduce that, accept it on file?
So moved.
Is there a second?
A second.
And then is there any discussion on the dates? Okay. So it's, as we will continue on, as usual, first Thursday of the month. It's been reserved on my calendar for the next couple of years, so all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. We'll continue with that date. Next, we have announcements, and we will have Tashik or Councilmember Harris, would either of you like to share the announcements?
The next one is the state of Illinois reparations public hearing. They are having an event at Norris University Building, the McCorrick Auditorium. This public hearing is presented by the State of Illinois African Descent Citizens Reparations Commission. They'll having their public hearing on Saturday, February 8th. And you can RSVP, there's a link in the agenda. You can also view the live stream online, and that link is also on the agenda.
So there will be upcoming Black History Month at the Evanston Public Library. Make your own ice cream. I'm going to that. I love ice cream and homemade ice cream. And that will be conducted at the main library February 14th, so Valentine's Day at 2 p.m. A film screening, 10,000 Black Men Named George. And those are about the Porters at the main library Saturday, February 15th at 3 p.m. Graphic novel book club for kids, so we have something for the youth. Black Heroes of the Wild West at the main library, Saturday, February 15th. Mental health and the Black community, a panel discussion at Robert Crown, Monday, February 17th at 7 p.m. Evanston Public Library and MENA present the book Color, Black, Enslavement, and Erasure in Iran. That will be conducted at the main library Saturday, February 22nd. Then I want to make sure, and it'll come back up, but that we have the Reparations Learning Hub there, and that is February 22nd. Better Off Red Book Club, all about love, New Visions by Bell Hooks, will be in the main library Wednesday, February 26th at 6:30 p.m. That art thing we do, a conversation with Black Evanston artists, part 2 at the Fleetwood Jourdain Theater, which is located at 927 Noy Street, Evanston, at 7 p.m. And Dope is Death, film presentation from the main library, Friday, February 28th at 3 p.m. So there's a wealth of opportunities to participate throughout the city. Thank you. And then we do have the dinner, which again, we'll talk some more about in the next point. Okay. All right, so we are doing the Reparations Ancestor Dinner. This is our final dinner for reparation ancestors that received their disbursement for the reparations, and that will be Tuesday, February 24th at the Civic Center. We're very excited to close that part of our disbursement for our seniors, so invitations have been mailed, and the people who are invited know that. So just exciting times that we've gotten through part 1 of this phase of reparations, and that is about what, our 132, our last part of that. And then just do the education bit.
I want to add one thing about the dinner is this is a way that the whole community can participate with community sponsorship. So if you have any interest in sponsoring the dinner, which is really beautiful, there's a libation, dinner is served, all of the ancestors receive a keepsake. In the past, has been a plaque, a certificate. Please do contact Tashik with your offer of support. We have a long list of volunteers. If you want to volunteer for that, please do contact Councilwoman Chrissy Harris to volunteer.
Thank you. It's exciting, great evening. Next up is the Educational Resource Fair. That's February 22nd. That will be held actually in this room, where we have worked with educational experiences, and that runs the gamut of banking, home ownership, educational resources for our youth, even for our adults. We have about 22 resources that have RSVP'd. It is free. We'll have tables set up in here where you can engage with the resource to get help. It's about education on many platforms, again, not just in a classroom setting, but how to buy a home, what does saving look like, what do we need to be working. Thank goodness my children are out of school because math is now different. So as a resource, how do you teach your children the math and the homework assignments that they're getting? So we're very excited about that. That's at 10 a.m. in the Parasol Room. We encourage people to come out and share the word. And then I read the other events.
And next we have the National Reparations Awareness Day. Is a national awareness day established by NCOBRA, the National Coalition of Reparations for Blacks in America. And the city, our mayor will actually issue a proclamation at which is at the 22nd, 24th. The city council meeting on February 24th. All are welcome and tuned in to learn more about that. And then lastly, we have our communications, item 5A. And Tashik, if you could take us through the items A through C, which are our financial reports and disbursement reports.
As for our reparations financial report, as of February, we have received $55,956.22 in donations to the reparations fund. As to the real estate transfer tax, which will fund our next group of direct descendants, so far we have $173,028 that has been transferred to the reparations fund.
Let's break these up and take action on them separately. For item A, did we make a determination on where the donations coming in? So now we're at 55,000. Is that within our general reparations fund?
Correct.
So it is part of the so we have $20,055,000 for disbursements, or did we identify a specific use for the donations?
So this committee hasn't identified a specific use yet, so it's up to you all to decide how to spend those $55.
So I would like to, we have a program right now, and I do believe that those that contributed to the reparations fund did it with the information that's been provided, that it is going to direct benefits to reparations. So glad that our attorney is here. Is there any particular reason why or process other than a committee action for us to discuss using those funds to add to the direct disbursements?
Thank you for the question. Thank you for the question, Alex from Corporation Council. I think let me look into that, but I think right now it could be a discussion item and then we could go from there if I find that there's other steps.
Okay, I would ask my colleagues to think about it, and then when we can put it on an agenda for action, to consider, that's 2 more disbursements, and everyone matters and makes a difference, so that it's not just sitting there undesignated. And I do think there would be a lot to discuss if we did something other than direct benefit for reparations, because we didn't specify that when opening the fund. So maybe at our next meeting, you'll let Tashik know if we can have a discussion and take action on it? Awesome. So is there a motion to accept that and place it on file, the financial report?
Yes, I move for the acceptance and placement of this report.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. And next, Tashik, we have 5B.
Yes, so our first cohort of direct descendants in 2024, we said we were going to disperse to 80. 74 of those direct descendants have made their selection. The remaining 6, they're informed, they're just haven't made a decision as of yet. But so we've dispersed 74 out of the 80.
Wonderful. Is there any discussion on that? May I have a motion?
I move for the acceptance of the report and be placed on file.
Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. 5C, Tashik, our ancestor reparations recipient disbursement update.
So we have made 132 disbursement out of 141 qualified ancestors. 4 of those ancestors have requested a hold. 1 have deceased, and we're still unable to contact their family. 1 we're unable to contact, and there are 3 small affidavit pending.
Can you share what that small affidavit pending means? And then for those that aren't reading the packet, do you mind sharing the total disbursement? Oh, awesome.
Next one, the small affidavit.
So a small affidavit it's a statutory document. It's a process that the state of Illinois has enshrined to allow, it's like an informal probate process. So if the decedent's estate does not contain any real estate, number 1, and number 2 is worth aggregate less than $100,000, you can use a small estate affidavit to collect them. We have been using volunteer attorneys to work with ancestors to get these completed and notarized. It's then presented, properly completed, signature of the affiant notarized, and then presented with the death certificate to claim assets, to claim the assets. So here, these will be presented to the city of Evanston to claim the deceased descendants' disbursement. So we're taking care of 1 today, and so that will go down to 2. And then there's 1 that we're just having a lot of trouble contacting, but we're picking that up and working through that. I want to thank community member Jeff Story, who's been an amazing a volunteer attorney, and also not an Evanston community member, but a North Shore community member, Shanice Evans, who is another volunteer attorney who have joined me in trying to assist people working through this. Thank you.
Thank you. So that's great news. I know folks ask, well, what's the mystery with the last few? So I wanted to make sure the community. Awesome. If anyone wants to see what that form looks like, then Mr. Sutton has one here printed out for you to see for yourself. Is there any further discussion on the recipient disbursement update? Seeing that there is none, may I have a motion?
I move for the acceptance and be placed on file the Ancestors Reparation recipient disbursement update.
I second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes. And then I'd also like to ask for a future meeting for introduction, consideration for a slavery disclosure ordinance. This is a form of policy that's been introduced for the last couple of decades, really, in other communities that could be another source of funding our reparations fund here, and could also make sure that we are in procurement relationships with businesses and corporations that are responsible. There is a model slavery disclosure ordinance that's been introduced in Chicago, also recently in the state of Illinois. So I will make sure that we pass it along to the committee for consideration for a future meeting. And then next we have, before we move on, is there any new business among the committee to consider? And then we'll move straight into public comment. Awesome. So let's start online. We're going to Vanessa Johnson-McCoy. Do you have more for comment?
Let me make an announcement about the RSA real quick. Okay. Yes, so thank you again, committee, and congratulations to Ms. Tina and Elisa. And I do see some members of our interfaith community here, so I want to say thank you to them. As has been announced in previous meetings, I am the first employee at the Reparations Stakeholder Authority of Evanston, which is separate from the city, but we are in partnership in this reparations space. And so I just wanted to announce that as a first employee, we are making progress with planning our programming for 2025. Our goal was to have $1 million raised before the programming begins, and we're just shy of that $1 million. So we're reaching out to anyone that would like to contribute. That's the Evanston Community Foundation that you're able to contribute to the RSAE. And so look out for announcements coming about our programming, our first meeting for the community to engage the community on how we can use this almost $1 million that has been donated to us, especially from the interfaith community, and we want to thank you. I think that's all for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa. Next we have Cyrus Walker. And some folks may have been signed up for the awardees. Tim Cox. Takada Norfleet. Takada. Sonia Wallace. Thank you for being here, Sonia. If you can unmute yourself. Ms. Sonia Wallace.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
I'd like to congratulate everyone. Wasn't sure if I had a question, but I wanted to sign up anyway. It was good to get some updated information in regards to distribution for descendants. Still would like a little more information. Not no specific comment. I'm sorry, I did have a specific comment. There was a form that descendants were asked to fill out in regards to the allocation of funds if you were unable to do so. I think on there it said you needed to be a direct descendant in order to do so. We found that a little bit a sticking point when you don't have a direct descendant.
Yes, I think I know the form she's referring to. I don't know what right now. Yeah, I'll get back to you on that. I think it's on the form. It says if something were to happen to you, then your next of kin. We had you put down your next of kin to claim the benefit. So we just want you to turn in that form, just in case. This is, as you see that our revenue is trickling in, so we just want to make sure that you have that in place.
And it was important to add that form because we had folks that were transitioning before they received their benefit, and then they would get caught up into this. Thank you, Attorney Claire, you can.
So just to clear, because I think that extended explanation of small estate affidavit may have been confusing. So if there's an asset, like a bank account, but this also applies to reparations disbursement. If the entity allows you to name a beneficiary upon death, they go straight to that person. You don't have to go through the small estate affidavit. So during the process, as you know, it's evolving. After we found out this was an issue, we handled the existing ones with helping with the small estate affidavit, and then for future disbursements, and we added to the information in the form of the recipients, the option for them and the facility for them to name a beneficiary upon death. So don't be confused, that may have been a bit confusing. If the recipient was able to fill that out, then there's no need for a small estate affidavit if you're in that situation where a recipient has passed before they've received their distribution. So, just a clarification.
Thank you for that, and it's been really helpful. And did I name Sonia Wallace? Oh, okay, thank you, Sonia. Mr. Bennett Johnson? Thank you for being here, Mr. Johnson. What a blessing it is that you're here with us. Okay, and next we have, and if you don't know Mr. Bennett Johnson, he is Black History. He is Evanston Black History. He is National Black History. He walked with Dr. King and Muhammad Ali, and he is a writer extraordinaire, advocate. Please know Mr. Bennett Johnson. Next we have Brian Shepard. Next we have Gloria Reese. Kanza Jones. And some people sign up for the meeting and you don't have to also sign up for public comment. You can do one or the other. We have Edith Woodridge. Yes, thank you for being here.
Edith, can you unmute?
Edith, yes.
Yes, hi. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
First of all, thank you for having these meetings and that the community can, be abreast of what's going on. We really
Are you saying those that didn't apply in the first round? There is no determination on what is next at this time. My recommendation is that everyone sign up for updates on the city's reparations webpage. And as the program develops, expands, changes, you'll be immediately notified directly. There is great benefit in staying informed because we've had partners that have provided forms of reparative benefits to folks that are eligible or that have applied. So it may not necessarily come through the reparations committee, but there might be other opportunities in the future. So please stay informed. Next we have, how exactly do they sign up?
Yeah. You could go to the reparations page.
So if you go to cityofelvanston.org/reparations. And next we have Crawford Richmond. Someone you should know. This is my uncle. And so next we have Rodney Orr. Thank you for being here, Rodney. If you could unmute yourself.
Rodney, can you unmute?
Thank you for being here. Next we have Nicole Headley. Pamela Hutchison. Sandra Bullock Wright. Melody Bickham. Thank you for being here, Melody. If you could please unmute yourself.
Okay, hello, I just wanted to say a couple of things, like, Jill, Celia, comments, congratulations to your employees. And I want to thank you all for this detailed update for what's been happening so far, the preparations, and on the distributions. I'm wondering if I can miss it, like I paper on me, I don't know if there was any information distributed or talked about regarding the education committee. And I just wanted to suggest that thing as they're working through what we need to get from reparations through education, that they might tap into some of the schools and higher learning institutions like Northwestern University, maybe Hampton College, those schools that had a interest in Evanston, they had students from Evanston, maybe they would be looking into contributing reparations in some way in terms of allowing students to have maybe discounts and attending those schools, or, some kind of preference, both years, that they've been, with us at Evanston. Let me know if you can understand that.
Good morning. Hey, cousins. Oh, she's my cousin. Yes, we are going to begin conversations. Actually, Oakton College does have the Emory Williams Academy for Black men, where there is support and preference given to men of color to help see them through the process. We have the educational fair coming February 22nd, and we have invited Oakton College, their CDL, their GED program to come talk about the possibilities for students. So we will begin that conversation after the fair with the higher institutions, which would be Oakton and Northwestern. And Northwestern has been supportive financially for sure for our reparation program, and they will have somebody at the event as well for the college-bound program. So those schools have been contacted, but we can do further discussion as always.
Thank you, Melody, for being here. Next we have James Hunter.
Right here.
Oh, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
If you could come to the mic so the people on Zoom can hear you also.
I just had some overall thoughts about this whole reparations program. It seems like funding and disbursements have been an issue. Has there been any consideration given to maybe having a property tax abatement? 90% of my property taxes go to the city of Evanston by way of the school districts. And it becomes an excessive amount over a period of time where probably in the last 20 years I've paid the school district or Evanston over $100,000. If we could get some property tax relief, that might be a possible option for, abating or exempting people who, especially if they're my age and I'm over 70, it would give some immediate relief rather than just waiting for donations and contributions and distributions from the reparations fund. So that was my comment.
Thank you for that really smart, recommendation. And when we went through this process in 2019, we had a ton of recommendations on how we fund it. And I believe Mr. Sutton had that same recommendation in 2019. But we have limitations on what we can do with what is within the purview of the city of Evanston, and Cook County regulates our property taxes. But we can look at those recommendations again with fresh eyes, increase political will and see if there's more that we can do, because we have learned that even the cannabis sales tax has not met our initial projections. So we are underfunded there as well. So we can bring back those recommendations from 2019 and see if there's anything that we can relook at. That was one of them, actually. And property taxes are a huge issue. All of my mortgages have gone up because of the taxation. We have found that our historically Black neighborhoods are overassessed often. Last time I looked at it, Census Tract 8092, our neighborhoods were overassessed grossly. And so it has us in a constant state of financial burden managing our taxes, our property taxes in historically Black neighborhoods. Ms. Payton, he'll probably tell you all about it as well. So we'll revisit that.
I want to make one other comment, if I could. And I don't expect everyone to agree with me on this, but there seems to be a nationwide mantra or that teachers are underpaid, and I totally disagree with that. Evanston has some of the highest paid teachers in the nation. And I mention that because, like I said earlier, property taxes are based on the school districts. And there seems to be a total mismanagement of funding, especially in District 65. So it seems like maybe you could work with the city or the county. I mean, Cook County has not been the most non-corrupt county in the country either. So, that becomes an issue that is important to me, that we look at everything, if possible. I know so many things come under the purview of the county. But, I don't know, that's what I'm about.
Thank you for that.
Mr. Hunter, that's one thing I'm concerned about also. There are several states that if you're in the your homestead, and you reach the age of 70, I know Texas and a couple other states, you're exempt from that period. And I think that we in the state of Illinois should consider that. And also, this exemption for Evanston is like $65,000 for the senior freeze, which is not appropriate for this community whose average home starts at $300,000. So seniors are being actually displaced because of these kinds of rules and regulations. And I've always said, I think it's the state that should go into this. Anyone who's paid property taxes and attained the age of retirement, okay? And especially if you don't have any children. I'm not saying I don't want to pay for the children, but my family's been paying for those children for one house for 70 years. And there should come a point where enough is enough.
And that's where we have to collaborate with other agencies. Good thing we have a friend in Cook County Commissioner Josina Marina. I recommend contacting her office for more questions about Cook County. And now's a great time to get involved in local elections. I'm a huge local election advocate, and we have an elected school board for 65 and 202. Please do learn more about that process of candidates and what can happen within those bodies. And next we have, did I say Nicole Headley? Okay, oh, I'm much further up. Bevan Drew? Okay.
Hello, it's a pleasure to be here this morning. Does everyone hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so I had a couple of questions, and I'm just so glad I was able to reach out because I've been a little bit confused.
We hear you fine.
Oh, okay, perfect. Okay, yeah, so one of my questions was, is I believe you guys kind of touched bases on this, but when the application had first came out, I did that application, but in lieu of, I had lost my family home, and ever since then, like, I haven't gotten any, like, direct mail or anything like that, and I don't really know how you guys house was. And also, I believe my mom had received the reparation fund, but she had passed, between that time. So my question really is just how would I know or what number I would have been for the application first?
So thank you for the questions. In the case of your mother, if she, first of all, our condolences to you and your family. In the case of your mother, had she received or been approved reparations, then it is being held for her estate, and there is a process for that. That's much of what was discussed today. So you can contact Tashik Kerr directly to see if one of those outstanding is your mother. And as it relates to your application, if you applied and were eligible, then that doesn't expire. So somewhere your approval is in our system. And we do have 21 direct descendants that are pending validation. So there are 21 of our neighbors out there that are direct descendants that the city is waiting for a couple more pieces of information. They have reached out to with the contact information that they have. So if you have started the process and feel like you should be hearing more information, also reach out to Sheik. You can call 311 or email to Sheik directly on that. Anything more to add on that? Nope. Okay. And then next we have Terrell Ferguson. Bevan Drew. Tawan Anderson. Tina Pennick. Thank you for being here, Tina. If you could unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I just wanted to congratulate all of the workers again, and thank you all for all of the hard work that you do according to in regards to reparation. It is a lot, and your patience to try to answer all of our questions and try to accommodate everyone is not an easy process, and so I commend you for the work today.
Thank you for acknowledging the committee effort, and thank you, Tina, for being an advocate, activist, volunteer, supporter of the work and in the community. And next we have Kim Holmes Ross. Thank you for being here. Happy Black History Month. Thank you, Kim. Thank you for allowing us to give these awards in your mother's name. It means a lot, and we didn't take that lightly. Thank you to Sheik for the beautiful language that went into presenting these awards, so thank you all. And well, I'm just gonna pause really quick. Alderman Holmes did a lot of things, but as it relates to this committee, we are here because of her leadership and many others, but particularly this work doesn't go without a process. And she created a safe, welcoming space on the Equity Empowerment Commission when she was a commissioner there, that allowed us to even start the conversation, and then begin and complete a process that now has resulted in us dispersing reparations. So just wanna take a moment to lift that up. And then next we have on our list, Mr. Rodney Green, former clerk Rodney Green. He is Black History. Miss Rita Pointer. Diana Martin. Virginia Garrison. And then last, we have our in-person public comment, the one and only award-winning Miss Tina Payton.
May I speak before she?
Oh, okay.
I just have one simple question. I don't know if it's, now listen, the thing is, if we have.
Gotta have the mic, they can't see you.
Thank you, sweet brother. Yes, good morning and God bless us all. I would just like to save us from ourselves right now, from what's going on in our world and our society. But the question is, let's, hypothetically speaking, once all the disbursement is made to everyone, the excess amount that would be left over, will that be redistributed to all that qualify as ancestors and tithes?
There is no excess, there is insufficient. $20 million is not enough. We hope to find more money so that there can be some surplus. But right now there are over 600 folks that apply and are eligible, and we will prioritize those 600. Yes, but thank you for wanting more, to give more. We all want that.
Well, I have family from California. They've been laughing at me saying that they're going to get $1 million apiece. And I'm saying like, yeah, really?
Yeah.
Really. I mean, it's no significant amount that will cover the disparity. I won't get into it.
You're right.
You know what?
We know exactly what you're saying, but yeah, thank you. Thank you for being here always. Happy Black History Month.
Yeah, thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Happy Black History Month. This time, I'm gonna talk about Black history as it relates to my family. I live at 1122 Emerson, which is at Emerson and East Railroad, just east of Ridge. Sam Taggart bought the land at 1122 Emerson from Jerry Reed and Hattie Reed on June 16, 1915. Sam then built the house on the land which became 1869 East Railroad. Then his niece, Estelle Burns, which was my grandmother, born in 1899, she bought the house from Uncle Sam, not the IRS. She received a title on 11/23/1953, but she bought the house prior to that time. The city of Evanston wanted to expand the street and the railroad, so they turned our house, had a permit to turn it by Foster House Moving Company on December 1st, 1953. Our house was lifted up on wheels and turned to face Emerson. And then it became again 1122 through 1124 Emerson. There's 5 generations in our house. My grandmother and parents both deceased, and my sister and I are still there. I've never moved, and this year I will be there 55 years in the house. Northwestern in the early 1980s decided they wanted to build a research park, which would extend from my house all the way to where now is the movie theater area. So they partnered with the city of Evanston, and Northwestern lent the city money to perform eminent domain. As you might know or may not know, some of you may not have been here at the time, but this was a predominantly black neighborhood. Some of you may or may not know, but this is a very important block in the history of Evanston. Black people were not allowed to go to the Y. Therefore, the Emerson Street Y, which is on the same block as my house, was built so black people could go to the Y and have entertainment. Also, very important is the Henry Butler Building. He was the first black livery, and that was also on the block. During the research park, even though the Butler Building was a landmark by the city of Evanston, it was decimated as a result. I'm the only house left now here on this block. All my black neighbors were taken, but for my mom, who was an attorney, we're the only ones left, and they would have gotten us too. My black neighbors will never be able to afford to return to this neighborhood. I'm asking this committee to partner with others to make sure this doesn't happen to anyone else. We were thriving black businesses, and the few white businesses that were on the block, Ward Manufacturing, which, as you know, on Main Street and now have a building on Greenleaf, is thriving and will remain in Evanston. They have gotten lots of benefits from their move, but none of my neighbors have done so. We've gotten nothing but harassment or an exit out of Evanston. Also, the research park was a flop, and it promised to make jobs for black people in Evanston, which it did not. Some of you may now know that where the black wine was is now E2. E2 was just sold for $148 million last month. Let's follow that. That's almost $420,000 per unit. That's not for us. I attend many meetings, and most of the time I'm the only black person. Evanston has made it where we're not welcome in downtown Evanston. And soon we will not be welcome in Evanston at all. Look at Wesley. Even though we don't call it eminent domain, that's really what it was, because it's a West Evanston plan that's been in play for over 20 years. That happened 1 year ago, where all of those residents, that's the last patch in Evanston. Where's Emerson and Jackson? Our neighborhoods are leaving. And I am calling on this committee to have some subcommittee to make sure that gentrification and discrimination stops here in Evanston, because reparations means nothing if this behavior continues. Envision 2045 and the comprehensive plan is just more gentrification and discrimination. It's not helping affordable housing. This is an exit for black people. As we discussed, it is the race for a campaign. You need to find out what your campaign members are trying to say in support of any of the issues that are happening in the city of Evanston. And then you need to make a selection and go to the polls and vote. But I hope that this committee, I asked before, that has some subcommittee to support black people when discrimination happens, eminent domain, or displacement of black people. Thank you.
As always, thank you, Ms. Pagan. Okay, Mr. Dax, if you could make your way up to give us a report. I keep hearing concerns in the community about Envision Evanston, and I would love to have a report from whatever appropriate staff on how that vision is inclusive, and share and be available for questions from the committee. So if we could have that at our next meeting. Okay, thank you. Thank you for being here.
Oh, okay. So you just want me to explain, kind of where we're at here? Just one? Okay. Well, so what I am, I'm Michael Dykes. I am the Reparations Construction Program Administrator. And so what we did in the last round was I was tasked with 19 projects. 19 of the recipients chose the construction end. And so I was tasked with helping them find contractors and get their projects done with they all had different things that they had done. So this is what we have now is some pictures of what I consider I think at least for me, the most heartwarming and the most beneficial piece of the one contractor. I had of course, a senior gentleman who had a home where his second floor, this is a picture of the before here, His second floor unit has a 2-flat. The second floor, unfortunately, had lost his son, and for the last 10 or 12 years, the second floor was just being used as storage. It was just up there. Fallen into disrepair and some of the real problems that were going on in there. So our goal with him was to, number one, help him stay in his home, get his home back up to par, and increase his equitable value in the home. And we were able to do that. They went in, I had a contractor, construction went in, and they went in, they revamped his kitchen and bathroom, cleaned his place up, fixed the walls and everything. So now, not only did he increase his value in his home, but it's kind of tricky when you have value in your home, because the only way you get that value is you sell your home. That's not the goal. The goal is to keep it. So what he's done now is he's completely back up in rehab. So he will be, first of March, he will have a 2-bedroom unit, and it'll be organic, affordable housing in the 5th walking distance to the new school, and he can then get there, and so he'll have some income coming in perpetuity, because he's able to keep his house and keep the value of his home. So for me, if someone fixes their home, that's great that they've changed their equitable position, but the only way they cash in on that is they sell the house or do something like that. But in this case, he was able to change his equitable position and get this income to come back in, so that will actually, to me, that moves the needle the most. That's why we chose that particular one out of the 19 to go. Of the 19, we are completely finished with 16 of them. This place is, he'll be finished Friday, gotta make 17. And we've got 2 more that are kind of in the works there within the next few weeks of being completed. And that's it.
Thank you. That's what I'm talking about. That right there. Now that is exciting. I'm so fired up about that. That senior.
You're not saving his home because he wasn't losing it.
Right.
But he's able to generate the income, and he's being a senior, he's disabled, so he can't really work or anything like that, so he's bringing something in. And,
just all the value add. We've added a likely, because folks that are small landlords like this gentleman and myself and others, Ms. Payton, are more likely to make housing, affordable quality housing, available to residents that otherwise can't qualify, can't, get places. It's gonna be accessible with the new school and all that. He has his income, increase his equity, his wealth. Like this really satisfy so many of the boxes for reparations. Thank you for what you have done. Thank you for what you're doing. I just keep hearing really good feedback about how that $25,000 benefit has been multiplied time and time again for various reasons in your leadership. If we don't have any other questions or new business, I think we have a final comment from Councilwoman Harris, and then you'll close us out and adjourn us.
Thank you so much. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that this evening is African American Youth Achievement Awards, where there are over 40 students from District 65 and ETHS that are recognized for their sportsmanship, their participation, their good spirit. Again, over 40 Black youth that will be recognized today. So I encourage everybody, if you have the opportunity, to come to Evanston Township High School auditorium at 7 p.m. and see these students recognized. Their faculty, the professors or teachers, their peers and the principals write some really heartwarming testimonies about these students. Many times we're up there crying. My mom and I help co-chair this committee, and it happens annually. It's a great opportunity to recognize our youth. We always want to recognize students with a 4.0, 3.5, but there's some students who just are good people and maybe don't have a 4.0. And we want to always pour in and encourage our youth. So again, tonight, 7 p.m. at ETHS, the African American Youth Achievement Awards. All right, thank you. Oh, and with that, I look for a motion to adjourn the meeting. And it's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor? Aye. We adjourn this meeting today. Thank you all so much for being here. And please be careful, as we know, It's really icy out there, so please be safe in everything that you do. Thank you.